What was the first business we decided to start?
A clothing line.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bent Co, man.
Literally spent $300. Next day, we're like, wait, we both don't care about fashion. We both don't know how to design shit. Don't know how to draw. You're making little doodles on your notebook.
Yeah. And I was like literally thinking like, okay, this looks cool, but how do I put this on a shirt? How do I put this in the computer on a shirt? Like, it didn't make sense to me.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
We don't know nothing.
You had like 8 little logos drawn. You're like, okay, now how do I take this and put this on the computer?
All right, so
The snaps.
today we're gonna be taking you guys back, all the way back to when we started, when we were wee lads. And so what I want you to do is to take me back to the day when you learned about entrepreneurship and came up with this crazy idea of starting a business.
Okay. So, I was a lifeguard at a water park. Like, I wasn't even good enough as a lifeguard to be at the wave pool. I was a lazy river lifeguard. So, like, I would have to walk back and forth on the lazy river for like 8-9 hours a day. And then I was also wearing water shoes. So that was extremely annoying. I don't know if you ever worn water shoes before, but dude, there's no cushion and you're walking on hot ass concrete. So you'd rip holes in your water shoes every week. And like, if sometimes you just be walking with holes in your shoes and like the ground's scorching hot because it's in the summer. And I had to deal with that BS, man. And I was sick of it. And I also had to deal with it was my first job. It was my first time dealing with managers. And I was like, these managers don't know shit. I had a problem with them telling me what to do. And I had just taken over the car payments for my mom's car because she gave it to me. And they're like $460 a month or something crazy like that. And I was only making $12 an hour in California.
Yeah.
So I think I just recalculated it the other day. I think after taxes, I was making like $1,500 a month or something. And I had also $500 of rent to pay my mom because she was charging me rent. And so I'm like, this is bullshit, dude. Like, why do I have to go work 40, 50 hours a week to make like dog shit money just to pay for this car that I drive to work, that I need to get to work? Like, it makes 0 sense. I'm like, this is all going through my head. And I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, it just feels like I work to pay off this car. She's like, welcome to life. I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be a better way. So I started Googling things and I found out that you could just start a business. I found like a subreddit, like r/entrepreneur, and people were talking about starting different businesses. I'm like,
do you remember like what you like? Were you just in Google like, how do you make more money? Like, how'd you even end up there?
I don't even think I Googled how to make more money. I think somehow, some way, I found out that you could just start a business.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I thought you needed a business degree. I thought you had to go to school. I thought you had to do something before you could like own your own business. But come to find out, you don't. So like, oh, this is sick. So at the time, I was in community college. You were at university, but we were at separate schools. And we skipped class. We went to the beach. And I presented this information to you. I'm like, dude, did you know you didn't need a business degree to start a business? Did you know that, by the way?
I mean, I don't think it's ever crossed my mind. I never really thought about starting a business. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I presented the information to you. What was your reaction when I told you? I was like, dude, I was all excited.
Well, I feel like you prefaced it by asking me like what I wanted to do with my life, because I remember us talking about that, and then I was like, you know, I'm in school getting an engineering degree. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm like, be an engineer. And then you told me like, okay, but like, what if we started a business? And I think my first reaction was like, why would I do that? Like, I'm gonna get a degree that I'm going to school for, and I'm just gonna be an engineer. Like, that's how you're supposed to get rich, right? I mean, that's what they always told me, is like, get a good job, make a lot of money doing that job.
I remember you telling me that though. You're like, dude, I'm gonna make like $70,000 a year and have benefits. Like, I was like, oh, cool for you, bro. Like,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So
for us at the time.
So you thought,
right? So that was my reaction.
Well, yeah, and then you're basically like, I'm just gonna do that. I remember you telling me like, it's not really something I'm interested in. I think I even remember you saying some shit like, oh, it's risky or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
like something like that. But anyways, I don't know, 3 days later, a week later, some short period of time later, you call me, and what switched? Because I know you watch Gary V, but like what exactly switched?
Well, my biggest thing was that for the past couple months, I had been looking for a job, and I couldn't find a job. Like I would apply to freaking McDonald's, to Jamba Juice, to Arby's.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, didn't you apply to Arby's?
Yeah,
Arby's
dude,
wouldn't even take you.
Nobody
dude.
wanted me. It was a little bit of a situational thing where like, they knew I was in college, and I think that had a part in it. But like, I couldn't get a job.
You just suck at interviewing.
That too. I probably sucked at interviewing. So like, I couldn't get a job, and I'm like, all right, well, no one wants to pay me. Let me just pay myself. Like, because you told me about the business thing, and I think I connected two and two together. I'm like, we could just pay ourselves if we just like started a business. So then it was a mix of that, and then stumbling upon Gary V. And yeah, if you're listening to this, you probably know who Gary V is, and he's just like super motivational, and he got me all fired up about starting a business because he has a way of like making it so simple. Like, you just gotta fucking grind, you just gotta work, and it'll work. And so, I think that's what switched for me, was like, I can just do this shit myself. I don't need McDonald's to hire me for $15 an hour. Like, I'm better than that. I knew I was better than that, but like, I just needed money because I was in college and I was a broke college student. So, yeah.
So then you call me up, and you're like, dude, I'm down. Let's start a business. So we go to the drawing board. What was the first business we decided to start?
A clothing line. Yeah, Bent Coat, man. I mean, there was some potential there, but I knew nothing about. I mean, like, my fashion is not good. We're the same,
My
bro.
fashion's not good.
Yeah, we didn't care about fashion. It just seemed like easy to like slap a label on a shirt and sell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, $200 later, like spending money on like a logo.
We spent
$300 on a logo, which is like half of our bank account probably. And
that shit was hefty at the time. I was hurting.
Just for some like stupid ass font that said Bentco. Like, man,
I could probably find the logo somewhere. We'll have to pop it up on the screen. But yeah. So literally spent $300. Next day we're like, wait, we both don't care about fashion. We both don't know how to design shit. Don't know how to draw. You're making little doodles on your notebook.
Yeah. And I was like literally thinking like, okay, this looks cool, but how do I put this on a shirt? How do I put this in the computer on a shirt? Like, it didn't make sense to me.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
We don't know nothing.
You had like 8 little logos drawn. You're like, okay, now how do I take this and put this on the computer?
Okay, next business idea. What was it?
Well, after we scrapped it, I feel like the next day, I remember I was at my computer and you were like laying on my bed.
Okay, pause. Why do you make that sound so sus? Okay, we're hanging out.
We were hanging out in my room. You were on my bed. I was on my computer. And you're like, dude, why don't we clean windows? I'm like car windows? You're like, yeah, dude, I was at the gas station. I saw like a homeless guy.
No, Target.
Oh, Target.
Yeah, so a homeless guy came up to me. He's like, can I clean your windows for $5? I'm like, sure. Gave him $5, and I'm like, why don't we do that at the gas station? I just started doing the math. I'm like, how many cars go to a gas station? Mm-hmm. We'll make like $100 a day or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like quick cash, you know? Stupid.
Yeah, but then I was like,
idea.
what, are we fucking homeless?
Yeah, I know,
I remember
right?
asking that.
Yeah. But that's where brilliant ideas start, with a stupid idea, right?
Yeah.
So then what'd you do?
Well, I Googled window cleaning, and then it's an actual industry. I didn't know. People pay a lot of money to get their windows cleaned, houses, commercial buildings, storefronts, anything with glass. It needs to be cleaned because it gets dirty over and over again. So we're like, oh, this is it's kind of cool. Like, we could just make money cleaning windows. Like, why don't we just do that? But we also had the idea of landscaping. We were between the two, but eventually, I don't remember what made us pick window cleaning. I think it was just because landscaping seemed like it was more ass.
Yeah, that was it,
right?
It just felt a little less ass to clean windows and mow lawns.
Yeah, even though window cleaning's pretty ass. And then we're like, okay, this is it. We put in $150. I put in $75. You put in $75, and we order the stuff off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And we also start watching YouTube videos on how to actually clean windows. And we find freaking Keith Kalfas, dude, the GOAT. I hope he watches this. I hope he ends up, someone sends him this clip or something.
So what was the biggest lesson that you took away from that Keith Kalfas video we watched?
So we watched a video by Keith Kalfas, and he's this guy. He still makes content to this day about like starting home service companies. He has a landscaping company and a window cleaning company, I think. and he made this video about how he was all fired up. He was recording it on his phone, and he's like, I had eviction notices piling up on my lap. I got a kid, a wife, and get kicked out of my apartment. And you know what I did? I went and got some window cleaning equipment, and I walked to every store in my neighborhood, and I sold 48 accounts in 48 hours. 48 accounts in 48 hours. And then that fired us the hell up, dude. I remember getting really fired up. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, let's go just sell this shit. And so we got that material from Amazon, and it was J&S Window Cleaning was the name. Johnny and Sergio Window Cleaning. And we had a $5 Fiverr logo made. And it was June 2017. I remember, because that was when we got our logo back. And we just started, I remember we didn't even know how to clean windows yet. We were practicing on my mom's sliding glass door. I remember her coming down, and we were like, fuck.
Yeah, we practiced for like 10 minutes, and then we hit the road to go knock doors.
Okay, so talk to me from your perspective. We go out our first day to sell window cleaning. Walk me through your thought process. Walk me through how you were feeling. You scared?
I mean, personally, I feel like I'm not like a natural sales guy. I feel like I don't like to bug people. Like, just asking for something feels like I'm inconveniencing somebody. So I think I was feeling like scared, but I wasn't going to tell you because I'm no bitch, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I think it was important that we had each other like going out there, because we held each other accountable to going out there and doing something we didn't want to do.
Right? We were both scared shitless.
Yeah. But we weren't, like, we were acting like we weren't. Like, we were putting on a front for sure.
Yeah.
So we went out there. Okay, this is like the best story. Tell them about the first account that we actually cleaned. We didn't even make money on it, but we cleaned somebody's windows.
Okay, so we go out and we pitch this liquor store. We had just bought like vinegar like 15, 20 minutes before. And we're like, well,
because Google said that.
Yeah. Like, we needed vinegar to like clean windows. You don't need vinegar to clean windows. But the store owner was talking to us. And I remember us asking when we were in there, she was the owner, and we were like, dude, let's sell her. Like, let's sell her after this. This is gonna be the first spot we hit. And it was right across the street from where I was living. So we drive over, and we walk up with our little bucket and our tools, and we walk in. And I don't even remember what the pitch was. I'm like, hey, like, can we clean your windows? And she was like, no, I'm okay. We were like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you don't want your windows cleaned? She's like, yeah, no, I'm sure. But going back to what we were talking about, Keith Kalfas told us, even if they say no, you clean their windows anyways. And so that's what we did. We went back outside. We were like, hey, don't worry about it. We got this. We're going to do it for free. Taking Keith Kalfas' advice. We went back outside, and we started cleaning the windows for free. And Keith told us, he's like, in the video, he's like, they're going to feel bad. They're going to try to give you money. And when they try to give you money, you give it back to them, and you tell them something. I don't know. But I didn't even know why. I don't even know why we gave the money back. But she came out and felt bad after she told us no, not to clean the windows, and gave us $5. And then we gave the $5 back to her.
Basically saying like, oh, like, keep the money, but we're gonna come back next week. Mm-hmm. I'll keep cleaning your windows for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we never came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was cool. But then we went next door to the donut shop and tell the donut shop story, because that one was kind of cool.
Okay, so we go in the donut shop, and we ask them same thing. Can we clean your windows? And they're like, well, what did they say? They're like, okay, but we're only going to pay you if it's good.
If it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like contingent upon it being good.
Yeah, and we're like, bet. Like, we could do that. And so we clean the windows. It's like literally 2 panes of glass, but probably takes us like 30 minutes because we don't know what we're doing. And then they're like, okay, yeah, it looks good. Can we pay you in a box of donuts? And we're like, sure. And so we take the box of donuts, and we scurry on back home, and we're like, look, we got donuts. Like, and that was our first like paid job. But like, it felt good. It felt good turning nothing into something, even though the something was donuts.
We traded our window cleaning services for a box of donuts.
Yeah.
And they were all old too, but those cheesy croissants were pretty good. But then the next day we went out and we crushed it. Was it the next day? It had to be the next day. Because after that, after we had the day where we just went ballistic and sold a bunch of accounts, we had like a week or two straight where we couldn't get any sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. And like, I always think back to that time and think about like, what if that was flipped? If we got like a whole, like, even 2 days straight of no's, if we hit like 100 places, we probably wouldn't have kept going. Because at that point, we didn't know anything about business. So then we probably would have thought, window cleaning is bad business. Because everybody's telling us no, that must be the case, right? But like, I think since we got those first couple quick wins, even though they were a box of donuts and an $11 job and a $50 job or whatever, like I think that gave us like the validation that we could keep on going. So I'm grateful for those first couple jobs, those first couple people that believed in us, even though we were just two 19-year-old kids that we probably looked like 14 years old at the time. But I'm grateful for it.
Dude. Yeah. And like some of the people that bought from us didn't even need it. Like Andy, the mechanic. Dude, his windows were fucked up. He had like welding marks and concrete etched into the windows. Like there's nothing we could do to those windows to make them look good. But I was like, I remember we pitched him and we were all scared to say $40, like $40. And he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was so stoked. And then we went across the street to the burger spot and got them for $50 a month. And then we went to the Ford old auto parts store and got them for like $80 one time. But still, it was like $80.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It was crazy those first couple of weeks. Okay. At the time, we're like 19 years old, sophomore in college. What did it feel like having a small business? Like when you would tell people that you had a window cleaning business, or like just how did it feel?
Dude, it felt great, man. I was probably so annoying about it because like I thought my shit didn't stink. Like, go in this business, especially as it started to get going, especially when we had that summer. Because like, okay, so to fast forward a little bit in the story, we got those accounts and we started doing storefronts. We started doing storefronts more and more. But it was like first 2 years was like a side hustle. We did like $5,000. Then we did like $10,000 the next year. And it wasn't until 2019 when we actually started making some decent money. And that's right also when I was about to transfer to Cal State Fullerton. And so I remember I was also dating a girl at the time. And I remember we started making money, and what we would do is our cash payments, we would split it. We wouldn't put it in the business bank. We would just take the cash. Right? Hopefully the IRS isn't listening and try to backdate us from like 2019. But we did $42,000 in 2019, but that was almost all in the summer. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it felt like a shitload because that was in like 2-3 months, and we were just ripping tons of jobs full time during the summer. And I remember getting home because I would go over to my that girl's house, the girl I was dating at the time, after work, and my pocket would literally, my wallet would literally be like overflowing with cash, where like I couldn't even close it. And she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're rich! You're rich!" And like, "Mom, look at his wallet. Look how much money he had." Dude, it felt freaking great, man. I felt like a freaking baller, dude. Especially to pull up to college. Like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I have a business." And it's like, "Oh yeah, like that, like, full time." Like, yeah, full time.
Yeah, I feel like no context, saying you have a business just sounds cool. Yeah. Especially in college.
Yeah. I work for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more humble about it now, but
what was like the turning point, or like what changed from like the $10,000 year to the $42,000 year?
Well, that was 2019 was when, because we were both, it was like school first, then the window cleaning business the first 2 years, I feel like, and it was still kind of like that going into 2019. But I remember you were getting an internship, and you were going to like the career fairs trying to get an internship. I'm like, well, I can't let this motherfucker get an internship and me not get an internship. You know what I mean? Like, well, I can clean windows by myself. I feel like that's ass. So I started going to career fairs and internships, and I ended up getting an internship, and you ended up getting an internship. And I lasted, let me tell the internship story. I went, big, like I think they're $1 billion company now, industrial distribution business based in Cleveland. They flew me out to Cleveland for training. I was like selected out of a bunch of people that applied. There's only like 5 slots, and it was a sales internship. They fly me out to Cleveland. I meet like the CEO and the COO and the C-suite, and I do orientation. And then I fly back to California, drive to Dallas, where I'm supposed to do a rotation of Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, and work and intern at the different branch locations for the summer. And it seemed like it was gonna be pretty fun. But as I got to Dallas, the second weekend, the way the office was set up, it was a big, like it was a square, and everybody had their own corner. So there wasn't like walls and cubicles dividing us. Like it was pretty open. And the guy that was to my right had to request time off, and the way it was set up was like all the sales guys were in this room, and then the manager of the branch was in the next room in his own office. And he requested time off. All the guy needed was 3 hours because the real estate agent that sold him his property like was fucking him over or something. He had to talk to an attorney, and it was like really important. 3 hours out of a morning of the next day, he requested off. The manager declines it. Sorry, I can't approve this. While he's next door, doesn't have the decency to come in and say, hey, I can't approve you because X, Y, and Z. He just sends him an email. And I see the look on this dude's face, bro. I'm telling you, it was like someone took his soul. And I was like, I'm out, bro.
Just so depressing.
I'm so out. Like, you got me fucked up. So I went home that day. I packed all my shit. I wrote up an email. I still have the email. Maybe we can pop it up on the screen. I still have the email. And I was like, hey, basically, I appreciate you for picking me. I don't want you to be discouraged on recruiting people from Cal State Fullerton because my situation's like very particular, but I want to pursue my window cleaning business. I don't think working a job is for me. And then she responds like, I'm disgusted with your lack of commitment. We invested all this time and money, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whatever. Deuces. Leave at like 5 a.m. the next day and drive back to California. And that was when there was just no going back because I had tried minimum wage. I worked as a lifeguard. I worked at the ice cream shop after for a little bit. And then I tried corporate. I was like, okay, everything across the board rings true. Doesn't matter what job it is. I just don't want to work for someone. Like the pain of like an uncertainty of having a business and getting it off the ground sounded so much better than the pain of just being miserable in a 9-to-5. So after that, at least for me, a flip switch of like, I'm fucking done. Yeah. Like this is the only way.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I was at my internship. And I remember, like, even before that, like, you were still, like, we would talk on the phone, like, every day. And I remember you feeling like you weren't 100% bought in to, like, the whole, like, corporate job. And then that was, like, the switch that killed it. I remember you calling me and telling me about what happened. And, yeah, I was like, dude, do it. Like, screw that. And I was kind of feeling the same way. Like, I wasn't feeling like I hated my boss or anything. Like, my boss is pretty cool at my internship. But I was working in a room. It was like a temporary office type of thing because it's next to a construction site. You know, I'm civil engineering. And the guy that I'm sitting in a room with literally complains about the job all day. And the only reason he's there is because his dad is friends with someone high up in the company. So, like, he's just there, like, just complaining. Like, I can't wait to get off work, then blah, blah, blah. And it was like a mix of that of like, and then me just kind of doing BS stuff all day as like the intern. Like, I remember I had to take out the trash sometimes. I had to freaking, you know, fill up the water jug.
You're a coffee bitch?
I was literally a coffee bitch. And then I'd take some measurements out in the field, but like, it wasn't for me, man. So then I did the same thing. I told him like, oh, I'm going to go do like my window cleaning business. And I quit like a month in or something. And, dude, I remember they were like super mad at me, but like, they were like, why would you do that? Like, kind of like looking at me like I'm stupid. Are you really going to like pick that over your career? And, I think that was a common theme in my life, just like with the window cleaning business. No one ever saw the vision like we did. Like, people looked at us and or at least looked at me and they're like, why would you clean windows over a civil engineering career? Like, that doesn't make any sense to people from the outside looking in. But like, I knew our vision was a lot bigger than just cleaning windows. Like, we were gonna have a business that made millions of dollars, right? But like, they couldn't see that. Even if I explained it to them, they couldn't no one can
comprehend that, especially at that age.
Yeah, they're like, you're a stupid little kid, you know. But yeah, we both quit our jobs. We went full time that summer, and we made the most money we ever made. And I remember feeling like I was rich too.
Dude, we ran it up, bro. Yeah. We ran it up. I think it's when you started dating Jocelyn too, huh?
It was around the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
taking her on dates and shit.
Yeah.
Buying her steaks or what?
No, we weren't rich like that. I was taking her to Chick-fil-A, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay. All right. So that's 2019. $42,000. Well, the next big turning point was like EO.
That
right?
was the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that year still. Because we had just come off. I think we did our little pitch in November. So for context, you want to tell that story?
No, I want you to tell it because the Keith guy, he approached you. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, tell us about EO.
Okay, so EO, it's the Entrepreneurs Organization. It's a peer group for entrepreneurs. There's tons of different ones out there. There's EO, there's Vistage, there's YPO. Hampton's a big one, or not a big one, but a new one that's getting popular. There's a ton of them. EO is just one. I think EO is the biggest. They've got like 70,000 members across the globe. They have chapters in almost every city across the globe. And in order to be able to join, you have to have a business that generates $1 million or more in sales per year. And you have to own 50% or more of the business. And at the time, we were going to college. We had a business, and I had on my LinkedIn, I had that I was the founder of Orange Window Cleaning, co-founder of Orange Window Cleaning. And I also went to Cal State Fullerton. So I get a message from the president of EO Orange County. His name was Keith Fiscus. Mm-hmm. And he reached out to me and he said, "Hey man, I see you're the college student and you own a business. We're trying to recruit people for this thing called GSEA, which is like the Global Student Entrepreneurship Awards. And you can come give a speech, pitch your business to it's like Shark Tank style. And if you win, you win like $2,000 or $1,000, something like that." We're like, dude, we get a chance to speak and practice our like speaking skills and have a chance to win a little bit of money. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. I remember messaging him like, "I have a window cleaning business though. Like, is this like really gonna work?" He's, "Yeah, it's fine. Like, just sign up." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we join, we prep our like little slide deck, and it's funny because on that slide deck we wanted our goals for 2020. This is because we're doing this in 2019. Was 2 trucks and 2 crews, $200,000 of revenue, and to join EO. And we put together our slide deck, we get up there, we pitch, and we're competing against a bunch of freaking jokers, dude. Like, just a bunch of jokers. Nobody has revenue except for us. I remember one girl's business idea was like, and hey, honestly, credit to her because she actually went through the mock-up process and like built it. So respect. Not trying to talk shit, but like, come on. It was wired headphones that zip down the middle to make 2 more headphones so you can have headphones and someone else can have headphones like in the car plugged into the same phone. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I digress. We pitch and we're like, dude, we crushed it. I thought we did really good. People were loving it, you could tell. And we got a bunch of good feedback from the judges. And then they're announcing the winners. We get 2nd place.
To who?
We get to some jokers with a freaking digital business card. Yeah. I guarantee you they haven't done anything with it. Not because they're not good, because it was a shit business idea. And we get 2nd place, so I'm salty. I hate losing. You hate losing. But then they do something crazy. And they're like, "Look, we're going to give the money to these guys because they actually need it. You guys are already making money. We feel like you get a lot more value out of EO Accelerator." And what Accelerator was, or is, it's still around, is for business owners doing over $250,000 of revenue, but under $1 million a year. And they teach you basic business fundamentals and help you scale to get over $1 million. And even though we weren't at that revenue threshold, they gave us a free year membership. So I'm like, this is awesome. And that was a game changer because me and you would go to all of the quarterly learning events where there'd be speakers who sold their businesses for hundreds of millions of dollars, just absolute ballers that we were able to like start networking with. We also got around business owners who were just one step above us, who were like, mid 6-figure range, high 6-figure range, not quite 7 yet though. Mm-hmm. We were able to learn a ton from them. Got the book Scaling Up, which we implemented into our business, Home Service Academy. Yeah, we learned a shitload, dude. It was a game changer.
Dude, EO overall, like the whole process, I think was a huge turning point for us because at the time we didn't know any millionaire business owners. Mm-hmm. So like we didn't take the business that seriously. But I feel like I remember like that's when I started thinking about the business, and like I'd be sitting in class like taking notes on like this engineering bullshit, but then thinking about how much money we could make cleaning windows. I'd be like doing the math on like if we just clean X amount of windows,
if we just had 2 trucks,
we can make
guys.
X amount of dollars, and that's when I started like seeing like an actual vision of like how we can make a lot of money with this boring, unsexy window cleaning business, right? And like then even getting into EOA, being around like business owners that are, you know, making hundreds of thousands of dollars and things that they don't necessarily feel like they're like $1 million business ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just like opened my eyes. Like, you don't need to have like the next Facebook to be rich. Like, you could have a freaking swim school, or you could have a freaking, this guy was selling goggles, right? Like, or just like a CPA, someone that does accounting, right?
Yeah, dude, the CPA's ripping.
Yeah. So, dude, that was like one of the best things that ever happened to us.
No, for sure. And we met some really cool people. Some people I still talk to this day that have graduated, or even some that stayed stagnant. But super cool. And then we go into EO. We learn all this stuff. 2020 goes around, man. Talk to me. You tell the story of 2020.
2020.
Yeah, COVID.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone knows 2020, the year of COVID. That's when things take a left turn for the worst, right? Because window cleaning is traditionally like slow season when it starts raining. So one is raining, then two breaks out on the news that everything is like starting to like close down. We get released from school. They're like, we're not going to school anymore, and nobody wants to get their windows cleaned. So for like a whole month straight, the business just goes to like complete zero. And we're like, the business is done. Like,
dude, we had
fucked.
$1,600 in the business bank account. I remember.
Yeah. And so at that point, it felt like very depressing. And it was like coincidentally at the same time I was graduating. So then in my head, I'm like, well, I could just get an engineering job. So that's what I do. I go on LinkedIn and start applying places. And like, I find a job like in a week. And so,
yeah, dude, it was stupid quick. You found a job. I was hot. I was like, nah, I ain't even gonna get a job like that fast. And you did, and I'm like, damn. And you just like, yeah, $70K. I remember feeling like shit when you told me. I've never told you this, but I felt like shit when you told me because I was broke as a joke. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what am I gonna do?
We both were.
I still had a year left of college because you graduated a year before me. Mm-hmm. I was tripping out, dude. I was like, damn, bro. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I was scared shitless.
But then you talked to Dave. Right. Mm-hmm. So, tell me about Dave, or like just like what happened in the conversation, because at that point, like I already had committed to like quitting the business. Like I'm like throwing in the towel. I'm like, the window cleaning business, it's not for us, you know. Mm-hmm. Like it's done. COVID killed it.
I was there too. I remember agreeing like yeah, we're done. And then after that, I called Dave. Dave was a mentor of mine who used to play for the Seattle Seahawks. And I met him through this nonprofit I was a part of through college. And he told me, he's like, dude, you can only quit once, man. I remember he told me, like, really think about if this is what you want to do, but you only quit once. I'm like, damn. And I started thinking about it. And then immediately after I called you, I'm like, I'm not fucking quitting. Yeah. I'm not fucking quitting. And I decided to keep the business going, and you took the engineering job. Mm-hmm. But like I know what happened from my perspective because I like kept it going, and I'll tell that side. But before we do that, what was your perspective when you were at the engineering? Because you were at your engineering job, and we would still talk on the phone. We were still tight. Like I was telling you what was going on in the business and everything.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective was just like I kind of felt the same way like that you did. I felt the pressure. I'm like, if I don't make money, I'm broke. I was also graduating, so like. I don't know, like it's kind of a different feeling, like where you were still like in school. You had that college, like there's just a feeling around being in college versus when you graduate. It's like you are officially in the world. You have to figure shit out now. And like I had been on my own since I was 17 years old. Like I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17 and had to figure everything out. So like, yeah, I think just feeling that pressure and like, just caving, taking the engineering job. And for the first couple of weeks, like first week or two, you know, there's a whole like the onboarding process. You go through orientation and they make it feel like so cool. And I remember feeling like I could do this. Like I'm gonna be here for like the next 5 years. Like this is it.
Joker.
Like, this is cool. But like a couple weeks in, reality sets in. I'm like, this is ass. I don't want to do this. Just because like my personalities, I've always wanted to be pushed. Like I just like a challenge, you know, and like I was the next level up from that intern. That was like the coffee bitch. Like I was still doing menial tasks that I didn't need an engineering degree for, right? They could have pulled any freaking schmuck off the street to do what I was doing. So like, it didn't feel fulfilling. I had to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning because like I'm in construction, so like shit start super early, and I just started showing up to work late, getting chewed out for it. Like I just knew it wasn't for me. So it was a mix of that and then us talking on the phone, and the business picked back up, you know? You telling me about what's going on in the business. Oh, we're making this much money. We're doing this, we're doing that. And I was just getting like the worst FOMO, you know? So I think it was like 2 months in, which is like my record for having a job. I've never been at a job longer than 2 months. I quit. Yeah, and I remember like putting in my 2 weeks, and they were like, "Just leave, bro. Pack your shit up, bro. Just leave."
They were tired of your ass, bro. You were sleeping in your truck at lunch and shit, weren't you?
Dude, I was tired, man. But like they were also like kind of upset because like they hired a whole ass engineer, and like I quit 2 months into it. So, yeah, that was my perspective. And I mean, lucky for me, you took me back into the business like nothing ever happened, and we were off to the races.
Yeah, bro, it was ass running by myself, man. It was so because I had to reassemble the team too, because we had a small team going before COVID hit, and then like everyone kind of got dispersed, and so it was just me. And so I remember.
And when you say team, you mean like my cousin, your cousin, like,
and our friend Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, dude, we were crushing out jobs.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, you're like, all right, I'm out. I remember I was sitting there like, and this is during COVID, so like everyone's gaming, I'm gaming, I'm on a League of Legends bender, and I see a random number pop on my phone. And I hadn't seen a random number pop on my phone in a long time because I know what that means. It means someone's calling for window cleaning. So I'm like, no way. I answer, I pick up, I'm like, Johnny with Orange Window Cleaning. And she's like, oh, hey. It was like a woman, I forgot. She's like, oh, my window's cleaned. I'm like, you're like, yeah, like, when do you want it? She's like, anytime, like, tomorrow? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, it'll be like $2.99 or whatever. And then she's like, all right, done. And I hung up. I was like,
was it like that scene in Avengers where like I'm back, and like they go assemble a team like Iron Man, and they get freaking Captain America.
It was like that kind of feeling. It was like, oh fuck, like people want window cleaning.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking, I was like, if this girl wants it, like more people want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, like maybe we turn some ads back on. And so I call my cousin Daniel back. I'm like, hey dude, I got a job tomorrow. He's also like on his ass from COVID, so he said, yeah, I'll take the work. I'm like, all right, cool. We go do the job, knock it out. I'm like, dude, foot on the gas. Turn Yelp back on. No one's spending money on ads. Everyone's scared. Run that shit up to like $1,000 or $2,000 in a month, something like that. That's always where we would hover between.
I mean, up to this point, what was the most money we've made like in a single month, you think? It couldn't have been like maybe like 5 to 10?
Yeah, 5 to 10K.
Max, yeah.
Mm-hmm. 5 to 10K. And then I turned the ads on, and dude, it was just insane. And I remember I put together the most ragtag group of dudes to help me clean these windows, man, because I remember my mom somehow met this couple that was like homeless, and it was all fucked up, dude. But the dude in the relationship needed work. His name was Corey. And I was like, dude, I'll hire you, man, whatever. And dude, he worked his ass off, to be honest. He's a bit of a dipshit, but like he worked his ass off. And I'd have to pick him up because he didn't have a car, and he was staying in like low income housing. So I'd have to pick him up in the morning before jobs. But I mean, dude, I needed a helper, and I was paying him like, I don't remember what I was paying him, but
Paying him good.
Paid him good, yeah. And so I had him, and then I would have my cousin Daniel like working, and then we got Jacob Allen. And yeah, Jacob Allen started working before he came back. Yeah. So it was like those four, and we would all cycle.
And then Victor too.
Jobs. Oh, and Victor, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And Victor's a beast, dude. That's eventually who we sold the business to. Yeah. But I just remember, dude, assembling this team and like ripping tons of jobs, and I remember like seeing the House Call Pro numbers like 10K. I remember like 20K. I saw the bank account just stack, and dude, I remember you were like, dude, I just worried about money. I'm like, bro, why are you worried about money? I showed you the bank. We had over 10 grand, and we had never had that much money in the business bank account.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, I remember. And I was like, yeah, bro, don't worry about it. And I remember just feeling so freaking rich in those like 2 months, because we went from like no money in the bank account to like having over 10 grand. I don't remember the peak number, but oh yeah, dude, it was a freaking rush. And then, I mean, it's just overwhelming though. I was having to clean the windows, pick up the phones, do the hiring. Like, it was really annoying. And so you're like, hey, dude, I'm thinking about quitting. I'm like, yeah, just come back. I remember I wanted to do some stupid shit like, oh, you got to like earn the equity back. And then I was like, fuck it, it'll be 50-50 again. Yeah. And then everything was back to normal.
Yeah. And that was the first year that we like actually ran it up pretty good. $204,000 in revenue. The 2 trucks. Like the crazy thing is we did what we said we wanted to do. At the time it felt like that was almost impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at the time, dude, 200K was like, oh my God, if we did 200K, that'd be a lot of money. Now, it's really not that much money, but...
I mean, dude, coming from like our backgrounds, who did we know that was making 6 figures?
Nobody. Maybe like a random aunt.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, no, we did everything we said we were going to do in that EO presentation. Yeah. So that was a good feeling. And we started doing Christmas lights that year.
Oh, yeah. Christmas lights.
And then 2021 comes around. And, dude, we really popped off in 2021 because we bought a business that year at the beginning. And it was like another window cleaning business that was doing $250,000 a year. We bought it for $1,000, completely like just fumbled our way through landing this. And we ended up getting 2 commercial contracts. One was $35K, one was $40K every summer. So, and to this day, we still service that. What else happened? We switched to contractors that year. Is there anything monumental that happened in 2021?
I mean, before the contractor switch, I feel like we're making it sound like rocky start, COVID hit, but then everything was just good. But like that was like never the case. Like there's so many stories of like us just trying to like survive, us just trying to like make it work. Right. And like, I think employees is like the hardest part of it. Because we were, dude, 19, 20 years old. Like, what do we know about managing people? Mm-hmm. Hiring people, managing people. Like, we know shit. And so I feel like we just had, we had a lot of learning lessons. That was like my MBA. Like, I didn't go to school for business, but like, I felt like running that first business was my version of like business school. I learned everything I needed to know. Mm. So.
Dude, there were some heinous stories we could tell.
I mean, this podcast would be too long if we told all of them, but like, tell me like one story like that wraps it up in a nutshell of like the bad that came with like starting your own business, as opposed to like you just having a W-2 all cushy in your office. You know what I mean? So
the thing about that is you incur all the risk, and there's always gonna be fuck ups. There's always going to be fuck ups. And that's something where it felt like, oh my God, this is finally going to be a good month. And then boom, some shit just hits the fan. Whether it's an employee breaking a $16,000 glass table at a customer's house, an employee backing the truck out of the driveway right into our neighbor's vehicle, who's about to take that same vehicle and go on vacation the next day with, and runs right into her door so she can't even open her door and get in her car. And it's a fat lady too, so she can't even hop in on the other side because she's too fat. Like she just so like, and then, like if I had to sum it up in one though, like those were like little sprinkles. There was one day where we were sitting there, we were talking about something, we were cooking some ideas, talking about the business. It was late, it was like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. And these 2 dipshits we hired wrapped up a job, and they're on their way back. And our admin Val calls. And she's like, hey, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to say their names. Are leaving the job, and the customer's not happy. I'm like, well, just tell them to go back. And then she's like, no, they don't want them back. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, the guy called me pissed off because blah, 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 blah. We're going into freaking Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We're going into the bathroom, running the water, sitting in the bathroom together, or switching out in and out of their bathroom in their like 6-year-old daughter's room, the bathroom in the daughter's room, snorting lines of cocaine. and the residue was all left in this little tray, and they're just snorting coke.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was baffled.
Dude,
I was really upset.
Bricks. I was shitting bricks, bro.
Yeah.
I remember on the phone with the guy, just like trying to save face, like, dude, we'll cancel the check. Don't worry about payment. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm sorry. Please don't get the police involved. Like, these guys are gonna be let go. Like, I'm sorry. And luckily, we got away scotch free. Now they actually came back and left a review on the business like a year later about it. But, anyways, it didn't sink us. Orange window cleaning was fine. It always ended up being fine, but there's stressful times for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that in a nutshell is like that unpredictability that comes with starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
That like, it's gonna happen, and you gotta just be okay with like stuff like that happening.
Have you noticed though, now running Home Service Academy with a stacked team with really good people, how little of that shit happens?
Yeah.
It almost never happens. Like, I feel like I never have to deal with that many fires anymore because of all the BS we learned.
Well, we learned how to hire properly.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. And then, yeah, I think just hiring good people, you don't deal with that as much. But like back then, we were so desperate just to have a man on the job that we would we turn a blind eye to stuff that we knew that was huge red flags, but like we were just like, nah, it's okay. It'll be okay.
I remember, bro. I was calling you up. I'm like, bro. I'll call him Bob. I'm like, bro, Bob. Like, it's not his real name. I'm like, Bob's tweaking. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, he's like actually physically tweaking. Like, I've never seen this before. Yeah. And you're like, bro, I'm going to be there soon. And then you pull up, and then you see Buddy sitting there like, like,
so bad, man.
Like, straight, like, tweaking. And we're like, dude, we had like 2 trucks worth of jobs. Like, we had so many jobs. And I remember we're like, dude, what do we do? We talk about it. We're like,
we gotta send his ass on him.
Let's just send him out. No, we sent. We
no,
sent
I feel like that day we sent him home. Or are we thinking about different times? Because the day that he did that, he wasn't tweaking in the morning. Like,
no, I think we did send him home that day. One day we did, but one day he was tweaking and we decided to send him out.
Yeah.
And I remember it was me, him, and Jacob on a job, and I saw him like just acting so weird around the customer. I'm like, dude, just go outside. Just go outside. I was stressing. Oh my god, dude. So dumb.
Yeah. We learned a lot of lessons. But to wrap up orange window cleaning, it's a lot different from the business we have today. So, I mean, looking back on it, do you regret starting that business? Like, knowing what you know today, would you start a different business being 19 years old?
No. I mean, knowing what I know now, maybe, but I think I started window cleaning business with everything I know now. I would fucking crush it. I would dominate. And I don't think home service is all that bad, but I think no matter what business you start, when you don't have skills, and because we learned all of it through trial and error, mm-hmm. We built all these skills ourselves because we never had jobs. If we did, they didn't last longer than 2 months. So any business, I think, that you start when you don't have skills and you don't have the experience is going to be very difficult, especially when you're starting from scratch. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it would have looked the same if we would have started an online business. The problems would have looked different, sure, but we would have had tons of headaches and tons of pains in the ass that we had to deal with and figure out.
At that level, the grass is rarely greener on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
Yeah, the grass is never greener. Like, every business, like, you can take the simplest business. You can take a dog shit pickup business, and I promise you, if you want to get that thing to $100,000 a month, you're gonna run into BS problems or things that you just didn't expect to happen. The simplest businesses. So I think it's good starting with something simple because you learn the fundamentals and then you can go off into other things that are more complex and just better vehicles.
I think that's where people get held up. They think, what is a perfect business to start? But like, you can start a business and then like down the line, 6 months, a year, 5 years down the line, you just start a completely different business. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do one business your whole life.
That's what most people don't get is they can't take the skills away from you, and the stuff is repeatable. Like, what's his name? I forget his name. Guy that started and sold XPO Logistics and all those, and United Rentals. $6 billion companies he started from scratch in a row. Obviously, like, it's repeatable. Like, that's just one, but you got to get your feet wet somewhere. And I feel like, especially when we start, or when I was first doing my research, I would get in my head about that, like, oh, should I start this business? Like, at the end of the day, you're going to hire people, you're going to have to manage people, you have to lead people, and it's all going to look the same. And you're going to have people that are selling or doing all the day-to-day stuff anyways, eventually. So who gives a fuck what you sell? Just start something.
Yeah. I mean, I remember even being in it, having the window cleaning business, making money. We were always looking at different businesses to start because we felt like the window cleaning business wasn't the business to like be in.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we look at e-commerce, we look at drop shipping, we look at any other way to make money and be like, that has to be better than what we're doing now because this is ass. But now we know like grass isn't always green on the other side. Like we've had problems with Home Service Academy, even though we thought it was going to be like walk in the park. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Business sucks. But
dude, it's like 96%. It's like, bro, why do you think my hairline is receding at an inch per day, bro? Like, it ain't easy. It's like 2% of the time you get the wins, 98% of the time it's just eating shit.
The wins are so good that it keeps you coming back. Like, you never want to leave.
Yeah.
So, because you just hold on to that win until you get the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what a ride, man.
Yeah,
I think that was a great story.
Let's to make a long story short, we talked about a lot, but eventually we started using contractors instead of employees to run that business, and eventually we sold it to one of our contractors, and we still talk to him to this day. We still get royalties from that business on the sale of that business. And then we launched Marion a Mop, which is my mom's house cleaning company that she runs remotely, and then made content about it, and people were like, hey, how do I do it? And then Home Service Academy was born. The craziest part, though, took Home Service Academy from 0 to 2.8 million in 9 months, after never having a 7-figure year.
But it's those skills, the skills that we built in the window cleaning business that led us to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll just have to tell a story in another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're getting back in the game, though. We're starting a house cleaning business.
Yeah, we are.
We're starting a big chain of house cleaning businesses. We're launching next week. It's called Orange House Cleaning. I'm really pumped about it. We're going to make tons of content about it. What else?
I mean, that's it.
Wrap there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was fun, dude. Peace.
Peace.